Well, hello there, motherfuckers, and welcome to another game review. It's been a while since we've done one of these, so it's about time we get back to basics, or get back to gaming and talking about gaming. And I want to talk about a game I picked up on Steam for $6.29, a game that was previously $40 on Steam, and the holiday sale really cuts you a big time break. I'll really tell you that. What great deals they have on there for anybody who, likes to play games on their computer, on their PC, on their Mac. I greatly recommend that you check out Steam. That is just a great format right there to buy games and download games legally. So it's a great thing, and you could get so many classic games. I've gotten Jedi Outcast on there. I've gotten the Doom collection. I've gotten the Monkey Island collection too. So there's a lot of things to get on there. So Back to the Future, the game. I picked this one up, $6.29. 5 different episodes to play in this game, and I'm not done yet, but I just want to share my thoughts on the first episode of the game. It's just really good. It's a Monkey Island style of game. With point and click. And there was also an Indiana Jones game like this, years and years ago. And this is a return to style for them. This is, definitely Telltale Games, the same makers of Monkey Island. And they've pretty much transposed that greatness, that classic style, right into the Back to the Future universe. And this game takes full advantage of that universe with a unique story, and while still making it feel Back to the Future style. This is a game where, it's going to be interesting. This game was released in 2011, but I didn't find out about it until about a year ago when I saw it on Steam. I didn't hear about it or anything like that. But anyway, this game is definitely interesting to see it in a time like today, where it's like polluted, with violent games and stuff, which I'm a fan of. But the thing is, with the Call of Duties and the Halos and the Destinies and the Gears of War and all these different series where violence is, pretty much the order of the day, a game like Back to the Future comes along with barely any violence. There's no fighting. In fact, you can't even die in it. You can't really lose. You could make the wrong selections in text, but you're not going to really suffer for it. This is a game that doesn't punish you. It doesn't punish you. Holy shit, what's wrong with me? It doesn't punish you, but it actually just, it rewards you. The way it's a very positive game. And that might not sit well with a lot of people. People do like to have the feeling that they can lose in a game, that their efforts will be rewarded with not dying and, being able to live on to the next level. But Back to the Future, the game is not about that. This is about a game that is all about just pretty much your problem-solving skills. It's all about just having fun. It's all about entertainment. And this is probably a quality that a lot of games lack. Also, something that Back to the Future the game has is originality. Originality in its puzzles. Originality in storytelling. Storytelling, a story that hasn't been told before. While other games out there are telling the same story 1,000 times while changing one minor detail within the storyline. Call of Duty, Battlefield, Flu Season. I hate it. But you know what I mean. Basically, games nowadays are just pretty much sharing the same storyline. They're not really doing anything different. They're just all feeding off one another and just making minor changes to the gameplay, where really at the end of the day, we're all pretty much playing the same game. So everyone who argues Call of Duty or Battlefield, it's really the same game, but really not many differences in between. You could, line them up side by side and compare and contrast all you want. But at the end of the day, the truth comes out. They're pretty fucking similar. And when we have games nowadays that are becoming just so similar, so samey all the time, it's good to know that there's games like Back to the Future to fall back on. And this also reminds people that there's so many franchises out there that are untapped. Games that haven't gotten sequels. Back to the Future was a series, a franchise, a moneymaker that, doesn't even, get talked about in the world of gaming. Indiana Jones is another one. They had a movie, Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. Did they even take advantage and try to make a game out of that? No. Now, I think that was a game that had a lot of potential to be made. There was another game being talked about after Emperor's Tomb for Indiana Jones. But once again, that's another major movie franchise that no developer even seems interested in taking advantage of. And why? Because there hasn't been many other Indiana Jones games, because they're scared that, maybe people won't respond to it that well. I mean, that's fucking ridiculous. I mean, really, Indiana Jones game, it's one of the most popular, film franchises of all time, and that's what brings me to Back to the Future. And why hasn't there been that many Star Wars games? There's no developers, stepping up, trying to fucking make a game that could be good and make money. And no one's interested in that. So I'm so happy that Telltale Games came along and just made a game out of Back to the Future. They stepped up. They made a game that they thought people might like playing, and, well, wouldn't you know, it's really fun to play. It's really well written. It's a great script. And it's just so well done. I was really impressed. I mean, if this is what Back to the Future 4 was like, I wouldn't really be that disappointed, more or less. There's a lot of fun things in here, and without giving any spoilers, it's a game that must be played. I mean, if you're a fan of the Back to the Future movies, the film series, the trilogy, I say, have at it. This is a game that needs to be seen to be believed. It's just a fantastic presentation as well, and so polished. This game doesn't have any glitches. It's not buggy or anything. Maybe little minor things depending on what type of graphics card you have or what type of computer you're running the game on. But for the most part, the game is pretty seamless. It runs pretty well, and Telltale Games has a great track record, so I'm really not that surprised. Game just really drew me in. It just, it's a universe that I love. It's a movie series that I hold near and dear to my heart, and I'm just ecstatic that they decided to make a game like this. I really can't get over it, because it's like, with so many games out there, that just have gone unfulfilled. I've talked about this in the past. There's so many great games that could get sequels and things, and they're not even being talked about. For example, like, you have a game like the Fallout series, and, they don't even fucking try. Half-Life, no. Portal, no continuations to those series, and they're barely even being talked about. Where are these games? Where are their sequels? So really, this review is almost a rant on the gaming industry itself for just not taking advantage of great gaming opportunities. Leave it to a developer like Telltale Games to come along and really show the gaming industry that you can make a game just about out of anything. Don't be scared to try things. I guess they were discouraged in the past because you've seen the Back to the Future games. They weren't that great in the past. There was one game out of Japan that AVGN had featured on his channel, and we saw that, you could make a decent Back to the Future game. But this is the best style of Back to the Future game you could possibly get. I mean, a movie that is so dialogue heavy most of the time. Back to the Future is action, drama, and comedy all mixed together with sci-fi. And how do you put all those elements together while still maintaining a fair share of dialogue? I think the point-and-click adventure was probably the best route they could have went. RPG elements, you know, walking around the town talking to people in the same style of games like Fallout or well, you know, when you're in town in Fallout or Knights of the Old Republic. Just a style of game like that. That is the perfect choice. That's why I couldn't think of anybody better than Telltale Games to take care of the Back to the Future series and give it a spot in gaming history. A spot, you know, in a game at all. So this is just a great game. It's very impressive. I'm not going to give it a rating yet. Perhaps I'll re-review this game once I finish all 5 episodes. But it's just a phenomenal game. I mean, it's close to getting like a 9 or a 10. I really don't see any problems with this game at all. I mean, I think it's a real complete, polished, fun game. Entertaining and funny. You know, when's the last time you really said that about a game? A game that made you laugh. A game that got you so enthralled in the storyline. And it's because it's coming from a great lineage of story. A Robert Zemeckis film. So there's really not a lot bad to say about this. It's really, I just have to praise them for making a game that's different among the junk pile of just games that are all too similar. Games that are just another brick in the wall. This is definitely a wooden plank in that brick wall. It stands out. It's different. It's original. And I definitely recommend it. And try to get it for the price it's out now if you don't already own this great game. Alright, motherfuckers.